forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
Happy Good Friday, everybody. We are here. Is it Friday? Good
It
job.
is, in fact, Friday.
Friday. Welcome to TMW Online, the Melanated Way. I'm Linda. That is Abby. We're catching up on all things before the 90 days. Season 8. We're doing 2 episodes today. Episode 12, Final Boarding Call, and episode 13, Losing Altitude. And I'm going to do it like one and one rather than all together because that's how my notes are. Final Boarding Call. I really feel like this title should have been like Men Lie or because this was just a bunch of liars lying to each other, and it's outrageous. So Final Boarding Call. I'm calling it Men Lie, and I'm gonna start with Daniel and Lisa. Men plus Lisa lie.
Man, Lisa has got some whoppers. I was like, is she holding the most secrets in 90-day history?
I want to say yes, and
I think so.
I also want to say she is so dramatic, and she plays the victim like nobody's business. Like, it's unbelievable how she can manipulate a situation and not see how she's the problem. It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me.
She's rhymed on so many different ways too. Okay, let's go ahead.
Okay, so now you guys, you already know, like, I don't like gross stuff. I still like gross stuff, and I know you guys like pre-warned me because we were behind and all of that, but I just wasn't prepared to be hit in the face with nonsense in the first 30 seconds. Like, what is happening here? So she pooped in the bed. Lisa pooped in their bed while they were sleeping, and it was all over the sheets. It was all over him. She feels embarrassed, as you should be. And yet she's lying her clothes together. Like, what happened there? Did you guys, like, did you just take the sheets off and then sleep with, like, and then it's a hotel, so then my mind races, like, then the next person, I know they're not going to change the mattress, and then the next, oh my gosh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just no. So, and like, did you guys shower, or did you I just have so many questions.
And then he's just standing there eating in that room.
Oh, it's too much, you guys. And then to top it all off, you just want to throw in casually that he organized a cooking class. So you're gonna bring me here to tell me about food over here. Your woman just pooped on you in the bed and y'all slept in it. No, absolutely not.
He was less offended by the poop than when she took her wig off.
Right. I don't get it.
He took the wig off and she said, your hair. Meanwhile, she pooped on him and he's like, last night she pooped on me.
So they go to this cooking class. Chef Rukayat, and they're gonna make the traditional oha soup, which is based predominantly on the oha leaf, proteins like chicken, fish, both, whatever, stockfish, and fermented locust beans. And Lisa's still feeling queasy, so I'm not really having a good time when this should be a good time because she's learning a little bit about his culture, but she's making it about how queasy she is, which is giving me flashbacks to what they just told us at the top of the show. Like, ew. Like, did you shower before you guys going to this cooking class and your hands are going to be all in the, like, what?
It doesn't even matter if she showered, because as she was talking to us, she was still saying that she was having bad diarrhea.
Yeah.
So even if she did shower, there's an ongoing issue happening here.
I know, but my issue is your nasty hands on food with no gloves on. Like, ew. So she's learning to cook because Daniel says, as an Ibu woman, she has to know how to cook. And if she doesn't know how to cook, you know, it gives the potential for other women to come and steal him. Please go steal him. Put us all out of the misery. Just do that. Do that. But Lisa's happy to learn the culture. She really feels like Daniel is making an effort to solidify the relationship so that they can move towards marriage. And I was like, are you crazy? You're still a liar here. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've wrote, you're still lying. Okay, so he's moving towards solidifying the relationship. Are you? Because that doesn't make any sense. So they make the oha soup. One of the things that they didn't show you guys or tell you guys about was how you eat it. So the soup is eaten with fufu, which is that white ball of things that you saw him pick up and like move in his hand like this. That's fufu, and it's a staple in African nations. And you dip it in the soup. It's really delicious, you guys. And so that part they didn't mention, so I thought I would just mention that to you guys as well. Lisa, and here's the other thing that was really irritating me, Abby, is that she keeps telling us, the audience, that she really needs to start being honest with them ASAP. I need to be honest with him ASAP. I need to be honest with him ASAP. I need to be honest with him ASAP. Okay, well, stop telling us because you're irritating me. Just be honest. What are we waiting for? I'm tired of you telling me, just do it. But she doesn't do it here. And she is just sitting there. She's not eating because, you know, she's still queasy. But then decides that she's going to tell, quote, her truths. She said she's been married a couple of times. And he's like, yeah, you told me, you know, Faith's dad and like who else? And there's a crazy pause because a couple to me means like 1, 2, maybe 3 times max. 5 is not a couple of times. Married multiple times. So she tells him that she's been married 5 times and he would be her 6th husband. And one of the things that made me laugh, you guys, is, you know, when African
suck your teeth
lips, they are not impressed. They think it's trash. They think it's garbage, and I laugh my butt off. But one of the crazy things is he doesn't feel bad about that. So he, again, like Abby said, he lost it about the wig and her short hair. But poop on him, no problem. Be married 1,000 times. He said 100 times, no problem. Because as soon as you meet the one, that's all that matters. Ray Dallas says, throw both of them in the trash.
Expeditiously.
So she goes on to say that her 5th marriage was the bad one. They had only been married a few times. And then I guess she kept saying that person, right? She wasn't using pronouns. That person cheated, can't find her. So I'm still married to her, but we've been separated for 9 years. And, you know, I have questions about that, Abby, because I thought that there was some rule that you have to serve the person. And if you don't serve the person, you can do like a public announcement after a certain amount of time in order to get divorced. Is that not true?
Absolutely. Her saying that she couldn't get divorced because she couldn't find her is malarkey, because there are multiple things that could have been done. The court does not require that you actually know where that person is. You can do exactly what you said. You could do a notice to publish. I also don't think she's telling the truth, because she said that person went off and had a relationship with somebody else and they were with that person. Like, she gave details on what her former spouse was doing that I feel like you would know where they are if you know those details.
Right.
So yeah, I don't believe her either.
Right. And so he, on the one hand, is like he doesn't mind, but then I got confused because then he flipped it because he's like, I've been sleeping with another man's wife and it's a sin. And in my culture, they can banish you. And I was like, he's clearly saying sleeping with another man's wife, sleeping with another man's wife. And she's still lying. She's still lying because it's actually not another man's wife. It's another woman's wife.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But you don't correct him. You just sit there and start to play the victim. So when she took off the ring and threw it back at him and walked out, I said, what is she mad about?
Yeah. There's nothing for her to be mad about. But I also, like, as he was going on that tirade, I was like, but isn't premarital sex, period, a sin?
Depends on how seriously he's taking his, I mean, I'm not even clear what his faith is, right? But it depends on what his true faith is, because he's not Muslim, right? He's Christian, which, you know, you're supposed to wait till you get married. But I also not sure if that's truly something he's following, because it seems to me like he takes bits and pieces and puts it all together. So
correct. Also that. My other question I had for her is, and we'll get into it more later on, but why is it so important for you to be married to someone who's homophobic, or in a relationship with someone who's homophobic, and you're bisexual, at least lesbian at most? But let's continue.
Then he says that he feels like not being here. He said it in different words, but for YouTube, I'll say that. He feels like they've committed the worst sin. He respects his culture, and this is going to bring shame not only to him, but to his family. And so he's having a whole breakdown, right? He is just melting all the way out. And she comes back after she's playing victim and she's crying. And y'all, like, can I just stop it? She comes back, you guys, she's crying. She can't believe it. And blah, blah, blah. And I, again, like, what? You're the one that has been lying this whole time. What exactly are you tripping about? And then she comes back to apologize and gets down on her knees, y'all, wailing and wailing and wailing and whining. And my note, all it says is SMH. Oh, stop. Those are my notes, because it was very irritating. And then I am going to talk about this, you guys, because I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I cannot stand a stupid stereotype, and I can't stand when you throw out a stereotype and there's no discussion about it. So when Daniel went to camera, he's all upset that this woman, Lisa, has been lying to him this whole relationship, which, you know, you all don't know each other. You just met online. So what could you know except for what she tells you? So that part. But when he said he thought all white people tell the truth, what?
Does that even qualify as a stereotype? I've never heard that in my life.
I don't know, but it sounds like a stereotype to me. And it just actually sounds like colonizer syndrome behavior. Like, no, what are you talking about? And where did you even get that from? And who told you that? And why would you then repeat it as if you believe it? So he's mad and said, you know, she called me a liar and a scammer. And I thought of you, Abby, at this point, because he's like, she called me a liar, called me a scammer, but she's the real scammer. And I was like, that's what Abby said. Told y'all.
Scamception.
So he's done. He walks away. He does like the first, like, cameras, don't follow me, just stop. He did that whole thing, which I was like, who taught you that? Like, right now. And so the cameraman pans over, you guys, to Lisa. And when I say, and I don't know if this is the proper way to use this saying, because you guys know how I am about sayings, but she started drinking like a banshee. When I say she drank a whole glass of wine as if it was a shot, sat down, poured more into her glass, had another glass, shot that down, and I was like, oh, she is really drinking like a banshee. Like there was no like sip, no. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They sit apart, get back to the hotel. She packs up as if she's the victim and she's going to get a different room because she really doesn't feel like she should be there right now. And gets to her own room, calls her daughter Faith, and then tells Faith that she told Daniel the truth about her marriages. And her daughter knows her so well, you guys. She was like, I'm not listening to this nonsense. She said, well, did you tell him the full truth? Did you tell him about the women? And she's like, no. And her daughter's like, well, that's a whole part of your life that you're still lying about. And she's like, I can't tell him because I really want Daniel. You're still lying. And you actually allowed him to assume that you were married just that last woman, the fifth one, but you were married to multiple women. You haven't been with me for 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you want to add to this before I move on? Because I'm done with her for right now.
I just want to talk about the conversation with Faith a little bit. We already know that she's not a good parent, but she's just woken Faith up out of her sleep. We can tell from, the way she looks and the time difference, right? To wail about her grown-up adult problems.
That she created.
That she's pursued. What a nightmare to not have had a mom in your own childhood, and then as an adult, your mom still can't be an adult in the relationship. How sad for Faith that she truly has no parental guidance.
And to add to that, no parental guidance, but also a parent that makes everything about herself. Like you didn't say, hey, how are you doing? How are things? Is everything okay? Do you need anything? None of that. And that's what I'm saying. She plays the victim all the time and has a very selfish attitude because it's only about her. Even when she's the problem, she's the victim. Terrible.
Horrible.
Moving on to Forrest and Sheena. Forrest, I am giving you the slow clap right here. I never thought I would see this moment, but you know what, Forrest? Good on you. Good on you. So we open up their segment with Molly pointing at him and cussing him out. Okay. And Sheena stands up for herself. So also bravo, Sheena. She says, I'm an adult. I can make the decisions in my life. And this is what we've decided to do. And Molly is pissed. She says she's worried about Forrest and Sheena. And like, what is this? She says. And Forrest is like, well, we talk privately. I accept everything that she said. And I'm moving forward with this engagement and this relationship. And then here's where you know that this woman has a parent that has no boundaries. She is a helicopter mom to her grown son. I personally think that she uses is it considered disability, his autism, against him as if it's like a detriment to him rather than allowing him to embrace who he is and support him and uplift him.
Mm-hmm.
So he says they have this private conversation. She's like, well, are you going to enlighten me or is that private too? Well, you know what? he doesn't have to. And I wish that he didn't tell her because it's none of her friggin' business. He doesn't have to tell her all the details. That relationship is between the two of them. It's not between the three of you. So what? He's a grown man. He's not even a teenager. He is closer to 40 than he is to 30. So let's stop playing around here. So he tells her, I'm like, SMH as my note. And Molly wants to know why Forrest hasn't made Sheena prove herself before he proposed. And she's mad because she's like, I told you not to do it until I talked to you about it, and I told you you can do it. And she says there's no stability in the relationship, there's no foundation, and that she's been lying for the last 7 years and that she's a pathological liar. Okay, so again, what is she mad about? She's mad about how Sheena has spent her own money and not told them, because I'm sorry, are you the bank? Are your bills not getting paid because of my money? Me giving money to my family is your problem? How? Like, I'm just confused. What are you so mad about? So what? She didn't tell you for 7 years. It's none of your freaking business. Do you tell her about your finances or no? Oh, what? You're not in a relationship with her, so why should she know?
Oh, so close to the point.
Outrageous. So Forrest is really disappointed in his mom's reaction, and he says, that is not how a mother should be acting. This is my choice. I'm a grown man, and this is what I've decided to do. Then he turns to Dev, and this is where I was like, oh, I know I brought this up to you before, Abby, and I was like, so where does Dev in this whole situation? Is he just really supportive of whatever Molly says because that's his wife? Or is he going to be a father-like figure and have his own opinions and stand up when he needs to stand up? Because he didn't do that in this situation, as far as I'm concerned. He didn't say anything directly until Forrest is like, well, Dev, what do you think, right? I as my father figure. And he's like, it's about you. That's what he said. It's about you. And that was it. I was like, oh, so you have no parental figures that are going to be thinking logically here? You're just going to go with whatever Molly's crazy business is saying? You just nothing? Oh, okay.
I didn't even feel like Dev was paying attention.
That's probably why
Dev was like,
yeah.
What happened to my milk candy?
And this is where I was so proud of Forrest. He said, are you going to be a part of our life or not? If you're going to accept this proposal, then you can be a part of it. If you're not, then you're out.
Mm-hmm. And good for him. Good for him that Sheena didn't have to say a single solitary word. The financial situation is still weird, but you know what, Forrest? You let us down initially with the way that your mom was talking to Sheena. And I could tell you didn't like the way that felt, the way it made Sheena felt. So good for you when the opportunity came back for you to be able to defend her, that you were like, oh no, yeah, I'm not letting this happen again. I'm stepping out in front of her and taking everything that my mom says on the chest. None of it's hitting Sheena.
Exactly. Tells Molly, his mom, that he doesn't like her attitude, that she can't handle his decisions. And so if we don't want to give you any more stress, so if this relationship, this engagement is stressing you out, then you don't have to be a part of it.
Right. He said, don't stroke out over me.
And she lost it. She's like, oh, you're a big man now? You make decisions on your own? And then he said, yes. Hello? Helicopter mom? He's not a child. He is a big man. He's pushing into middle age. Where are we talking about right now? She says that she feels like she's had to protect Forrest for his whole life and make decisions for him because of his autism. And she feels like, quote, she's lost her son. Well, you lost control of your son. and you haven't wanted to lose control of your son. And I'm not sure what else the dynamic is, but I'm sure it is connected to financials. I think it's connected to your housing, your all of it. Your whole life is intertwined with your son's autism, because you're probably telling the government that you're his primary caregiver, and that's how you're like. There's probably just a lot that's connected there, and that's why you're holding on so tight, because nothing else makes sense.
Right. I'm imagining that she's doing the budgeting of his monthly SSI, SSDI, whichever one that it is that he gets, his monthly check, and probably take some of it for herself.
Mm-hmm.
Like losing access to that is a problem for her. And then for some moms that are enmeshed with their sons, for some reason it's moms and sons more often than any other dynamic. They just want to be number one in their lives. They want to be the number one consideration, the first person they think of to share news with, the first person they think of to hang out with, and they don't like anyone else threatening that position.
100%. 100%. Molly goes on to say that she's just tired of this whole mess, and tired of him putting her in his mess, and for her to have to drag herself up to like, I was like, just stop. And Forrest wasn't falling for it either. He's like, you know what? Sheena and I are moving forward. Period. That's it. That's all. Do you want to add anything before I move on to Trisha and Rick, who are also
Let's go, Trisha and Rick.
Trisha and Rick. So liar number 2 and manipulator number 2. And I'm just gonna say full out that the more I see him, the more I just do not like him. I just do not like him as a person. I think he is a predator. I think he's a manipulator. I just think he's a walking red flag.
It's so uncomfortable watching him give this meaningless apology. It was so awkward watching Trish struggle with the fact that he's allowed her to become intimate and have all this time together and have plans together. And now she's struggling with whether to move forward or not. It's like somebody telling you bad news right before it's time for you to walk down the aisle. And as a woman, instead of being able to just say, how do I feel? What do I want? You're thinking about all the moving parts. Well, I've already paid for the flowers. I've already paid for the cake. My family is already here. You know, because I think if she didn't have these future plans that were already made, going to her hometown, meeting her parents, and if she hadn't already told them, hey, he's here, we've done this together, we've done that together, it would be easier for her to walk away. But because she is unable to only consider herself and how she feels in this moment, that's what I feel like is happening in her mind while he's sitting there with his little beady eyes making his apology. That's not really an apology. And I just feel so sorry for her. I feel so sorry for her and anyone else who's ever been put in that position. But it's okay to be selfish. If this ever happens to you, put every other consideration out of your mind. Your parents, your siblings, your friends, put everything else out of your mind and just say, what do I want to do right now? Because most likely it's easier for you to walk away if you do that.
Yeah. I mean, similar to what I said before, I think that it was very selfish of him to allow her to get to a point where she felt comfortable enough to be intimate with him, because she probably would not have been. But again, he's a liar and a manipulator. So he says to her, you know, what can we do now to make this right? And she says, I don't know, of course, because what do you want her to do?
Right. It's not her job to make it right.
That's right. She's hurt. She's angry about the lies. And she's like, you know, this whole time, and cheaters do this, you guys. They start accusing you of doing things that you know you're not doing. It's because they're doing those things, and they're starting to like panic in their head that you might find out. So they flip it. That is what a manipulator and a cheater does. So he was accusing her this whole time of cheating and being with the ex and all the things, but he's the one that he's been cheating the whole time. She's like, you ruined this vacation. How can I trust you? How am I going to know when you go back that you're not going to continue cheating? And he's like, I promise that I will be faithful to you. Forgive me. Well, what? You just cheated. Why should she
Right.
forgive you? And why should she believe any words that are coming out of your mouth? You're a cheater, and you lied about it, or you at the very least withheld that information until it was convenient for you. You got what you wanted, and now you're like, how are we going to fix this?
Mm-hmm.
She's sitting there crying. She was really adamant just the day before, like, don't touch me, don't touch me. She's mad, but she allows him to hug her. And he says, all these platitudes, like, I didn't want to add to your hurt. I know you've been hurt in the past. I'm not going to cheat on you. Okay, baby. Okay, baby. I'm going to make it up to you, baby. And then she says, okay. And I was actually slightly disappointed. I was slightly disappointed because you can start to see where he's weaseling back in, and she's accepting it. I was slightly disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
He's happy that he's getting a second chance. And she tells us that she's decided to stay because she's already in love with him. But, sometimes love is not enough. Sometimes love is not enough, you guys.
Almost always, love is not enough.
Not enough.
Almost always, you need more than that.
Trust and communication and compatibility, and just there's so much that goes into it that you could just love someone and you might not be able to be with them because that doesn't sustain a relationship long term. Yes, it has to be there, but there has to be some other things there. But he's excited he's getting a second chance. And they decide that the next day or that same day, I don't know, it wasn't very clear to me, they're going to go to a boxing match, which I thought was funny because, the juxtaposition of them fighting and then going to a fight, I thought that was funny. And the number of times that he calls her baby also irritates me. Are you having fun, baby? Are you this baby? Are you that baby? And he's trying to remind Trisha how fun things can be between them. But that hasn't changed your actions or behavior, because here's what happens. He makes it about himself. So she just found out that he was cheating. And now he's like, well, we can do our own wrestling when we get to the house. What?
You can't cheat and then immediately start making intimacy jokes.
Right.
Or even asking. I think it's a lot to even ask for intimacy.
That part. And so here's the part where I was confused with her, because she says she wants the relationship to work. And my question is, why? What is it that he's bringing you besides you say you love him, and yet you've only really spent, a week with him in real life? What is it that he's bringing you that is providing you the security and safety and future feelings? Because I don't see it. So I'm curious, what is it? And so that's what she wants. Okay, that's what you want. It's absolutely your choice. They make a little bet on the two next boxers. If the blue shorts, which is her choice, wins, then she doesn't have to be intimate with him. If the black shorts win, which is his choice, then she is going to be intimate with him. Black shorts win. But she, again, was like, no, it's too soon, she says. Yeah, it's too soon, but it's also too soon for you to have made that, not even a joke, but to have said that to him, because that's also part of what he's just wanted from you this whole time. He looks at you as this young, pretty side piece that is going to he's going to bring from Africa to come and take care of him and his children. It has nothing to do with you per se, except that you're young and you're beautiful. It's crazy. So I know. They're on their way back, and his question says, do you still want me to meet your dad? And she's like, yeah, because he already knows you're here. And this is where I'm mad because, again, he's a liar to me because he has told all of us that, he doesn't want to have kids. And that is the biggest thing for getting married in her culture. And so he's nervous and anxious to meet the family, the dad specifically, because they're going to have expectations. They're going to want him to have kids. And also, he's a lot older. They're expecting someone who's younger and doesn't have their own children in this whole package. And he knows that these are things that he wants. And yet, he's not telling her. And I just think that by omitting those things, you are therefore also lying to her, and you're not putting her in a position where it seems like you love her. It seems like you don't even like her or respect her values and beliefs, and that's just not okay with me.
He hasn't allowed her an opportunity to make decisions about her own life.
That's right. And misleads her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just feel so bad for Triss. I feel for her because I feel like she would be at this point embarrassed if she didn't bring him home after so many people in her hometown know that she's supposed to be bringing this person. But I also just feel like she's kind of in an impossible position.
But is it impossible?
I think so, because if she exits the relationship, which is what I would want for her to exit the relationship, she's got to go home and explain to these people who were expecting to see him why he wasn't there. And unfortunately, I think in a culture like hers, it would be put on her shoulders. You're at fault somehow. If you can't keep a man, you're at fault somehow. You're this old and you don't have a man yet. You have a baby yet. It's your fault. And if she does bring him, then she's bringing him with the baggage of knowing what he's done. So unfortunately, I don't think she's in a situation where she has a clear winning choice in her mind, the way that we see it.
Interesting. Do you want to add anything else before I move on to Elise and Joshua?
Let's go, Elise and Joshua. I already don't like Joshua. That happened really fast.
That's not the best picture of her, but when I snapped it from the TV, it was because she was talking about this text that she was alarming to her. And I was getting irritated that they weren't telling us what this text was, but they kept bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's that backstory. So this is Elise. We met her last episode. And I will tell you this, and this might, I don't know what it's going to say to you guys, but she is packing, and the first thing that came to my attention is all these. I love me a good bag, and I know Abby, you're not into bags and all of that, but I love a good bag. And so her little shrine of luxury bags back there really just was like, oh, I love that. I love that. I thought it was funny. So she's packing, and in her packing here, and I'll bring that picture back up. In her packing, it's like eight luxury bags. Those are the first things she's packing. And I was like, this woman is gonna have I knew it. She's gonna have a bunch of suitcases. I thought I was bad with the number of suitcases that I travel with, but I am nowhere near as bad as her. So she's telling herself that she's gonna go see her future husband. What do you think of her personality, Abby? So far,
I think that she's very honest. I think she's very introspective. I do have some concerns about how willing she's far to go and sacrifice herself for a relationship, but she seems pretty genuine.
Yeah, I think she's hilarious, you guys. I am getting a little kick out of her personality. So this scene specifically cracked me up. So she had a whole huge bucket of just bikinis, which, she's in Miami. I get it. Makes sense. But she's explaining each of the styles of bikinis, and I died of laughter. So one was like a granny bikini. One was like, oh, this is a second base bikini. And the third one was like, oh, game on bikini. Laughed and laughed and laughed. And why I laughed about that, and why I thought that was so great, is one of the things that you find really as a single female is that you can't really own your sexuality out there like that and talk about, intimacy and partners and all of that without being labeled some type of thing. And I just love that she is owning who she is and owning, like, as a single person, this is what I do, and this is what I should be able to do because I'm grown. I love that for her. So she tells us that she hasn't been intimate in 6 months, which is the longest ever in her life. And she wants to continue to be that way and try to take it slow with Joshua. And yet she's having a bunch of doubts about just the trip and what it looks like and all of that, because why does Josh have a roommate? He's 40 years old and can't afford a rental, and she just feels like that is weird that he can't. And so his friend Chris is splitting the rental with him, and so that's a major concern, because she did also say, like, I would have rather him have gotten a smaller place and it just been the two of us, or have a conversation with me and maybe we could split some of it so it could just be us. And so all of those things she was willing to discuss, but she also didn't bring it up, which I thought was weird. So if he didn't bring it up, maybe it could have been an option that you brought up. I don't know. So her friend Yulia is there to pick her up, to take her to the airport. And literally my note says, oh, she has 4 checked bags, you guys, not 2, which internationally 2, 4 checked bags. And they're the checked bags plus her bag. 4.
Wait, so was Yulia's face giving, I do not know why she asked me to drive her to the airport. Everybody just takes an Uber to the airport. What am I here for? Or was that just me?
I think that was just you.
Yeah. I felt like obviously she's being a very good friend, but her face, I was like, I don't think that Yulia typically makes airport runs.
I think she was being a supportive friend. I do remember her saying when she saw all the bags, she's like, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up to be out front and drive you to the airport. I am not a porter. I'm not trying to do all this because these bags are heavy. And her friend is concerned about her friend going to Australia to meet this stranger, because really it is a stranger. I don't care if you guys have been talking for 6 months. And here's a little bit about Joshua. Now, I'm not super clear about what Joshua does because they've said a few things, but he sells boats. He's a yacht broker is how it was originally explained to us. But the text was about how he took one of the company's boats for a joyride and crashed it. And so he's at his final warning at work. And my whole thing was, well, that if it's a final warning, is it a once and final, or has he done this multiple times? And then if he is indeed a yacht broker, why is he also like the captain of the boat and driving the boat? But then later in the episode, Chris says that Joshua drives boats for a living. So like, what is your job exactly? Because I'm not very clear on what you actually are doing. And then Yulia is also concerned that maybe he'll lose his job, and Elise is concerned that he also lives with his parents. So it's the non-stability of it all. It's the 40-year-old living at home of it all. So it's all of these things that are causing concern for both women. She gets to the airport and I don't know, you guys. I don't know why this also irritated me, but I don't know if it's because I'm a traveler, and I know Abby's the traveler, ultimate traveler, but I just feel like especially when you're traveling internationally, I don't understand how you are not already prepared. It's not like you just, I mean, and it could be you woke up in the morning and was like, I'm just going to take this flight. But I don't understand how she gets to the airport and her visa's denied. She's freaking out. She says that she got approved right away. Well, where's your proof that you got approved right away so that we can cut all of this nonsense in half? Second of all, how did you not check when you're packing all 4 bags? Like, here's my visa, whether it's like on my phone so I can show them at the airport, or like, I don't understand what? Like, you just get there and then now it's on the flight personnel to figure it out for you. And then she said that they said that she got denied 8 times. I don't know about you, Abby. My question to you is that I have never gone to an air. I've never seen. How am I trying to say this? I don't know any airport employee that has that amount of time to figure out your visa
Mm-hmm.
application process while they're at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
I normally see, even when your bag is too heavy, that you have to go and figure it out for yourself and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen that before?
No, but I think I know exactly what happened.
Okay.
I will tell you a story. I applied for my work permit in Mexico from the United States. And I did all the paperwork online. And they were like, great, it's approved. Come pick it up for the Mexican consulate, right? So I go to the Mexican consulate to pick it up, give them my passport. And the lady says, I can't release your work permit to you because your passport number doesn't match the passport when you applied for the work permit. Here's what I did. I applied for my work permit, and then I realized, oh, my passport's going to expire soon. I applied for a new passport, not realizing that passport numbers change. So even though I was approved online to come pick up my work permit, when I got to the building, they wouldn't release it to me because my passport number was different. So I think what happened to her is she applied, she transposed her names, they approved it online. But then when she got to the airport and that person is inputting the information, it was giving a rejection or error notice because she transposed her name. So even though she was preliminarily approved, that airport employee was like, oh, no, I'm getting a rejection.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know that's what happened, but I guess.
So even if she had that approval printed out, it wouldn't matter. I had a letter printed out saying my work permit's approved. It means nothing to that employee who was looking at it and saying, yeah, but the passport numbers aren't the same. I can't give this to you.
But that's what I'm saying though, Abby, is that did you wait for your work permit to travel the same day?
No, it was like 3 days before.
Say to you guys,
But in this case, she wouldn't have known. If she received the approval online, she wouldn't have realized the mistake that she made until she got to the airport. Because there would be no other reason for her to look at it again. She's got the...
Okay, but I also think that had she... I mean, you don't know that for sure, right? She could have looked and been like, ooh, why does it say, I don't know, Jones Elise? But I do think that if she had printed it out or whatever she needed to do and presented it to this third party who has no skin in the game, he would have been able to look and see immediately because they know all the things instead of wasting time 8 times and all of a sudden it finally worked. Because I think that he went through all the combinations to figure it out. And finally on the 9th try, oh, you transposed your names. I think it could have been a smoother process. And I also think that just don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till you get to the airport for the most important stuff. Just double and triple that.
I mean, it could be one of those things that just doesn't look out of place for me. Like I applied for not a visa, but something else I applied for one time. And I put in my birth date the same way that I would always put it in for things here in the US, month, day. And then when I got to the place where I was going, they were like, oh, your birthday is June the 4th. And I was like, no, it's April the 6th. But because it was like transposed for them, like it was backwards, you know? And so that's never going to look out of place for me. It's not going to be something that I look at a piece of paper and realize, oh, there's an error.
Yeah, I mean, America does their day, month, year different than everywhere else in the world, by the way. So that and miles different than everywhere else in the world, but that's another
Yeah.
conversation.
So, yes, Books, the author, thinks they know what it is that Joshua's job is. So thank you for joining us. He's a captain in salesperson on the side. Like if someone wants to sell, he acts like the broker. Well, that's what it sounds like. I mean, that kind of makes sense to me.
I mean,
so he would take possession of the person's boat who wants to sell it to be able to show it to other people.
Okay, but okay, maybe. But then he has a company he does that through, and then who's giving him a final warning? Like, I don't know. He sounds like an employee to me.
Sounds like a loser.
So, long story short, she was freaking out. She was panicking, and finally it worked out. She is so happy to get on this flight because she believes that Joshua is her life partner. And I don't know how you guys know that when you've never met people in real life. Like you could have great conversations, you could FaceTime and all the things for forever, but if you don't know them in real life, you never met them, how do you come to those conclusions? I don't know. Josh, 39. He says he's between places. He on my first impressions is giving frat bro vibes. He's super nervous to meet Elise, and he just really loves her. He thinks that she's beautiful, she's a great listener, has a fiery personality, and he is obsessed with her. I just, is that a good thing to be obsessed? I don't know.
Obsessed with her as if she is some kind of object to possess is the way that it came off to me. And so, no, that would not be good. In his description of her, he didn't like really detail any of her specific interests or quirks that were, oh, I just love the way she's so into Lord of the Rings. I just love talking to her about her, pottery. He didn't like identify things that she enjoys or characteristics about her. He identified things that benefit him, the way that she looks, the way she listens to me, the way that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't particularly inspiring either.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets dressed up, and I thought he was getting dressed to pick her up from the airport, and it was not even that.
And I thought that too. So I'm glad that you said that. I was like, oh, this is great. He's getting dressed up. He's putting on a suit, I thought, to go pick her up. But that's not what it was. Chris and he are getting dressed up because they've already made plans to go to the Melbourne Cup race, which is a horse race, which is like the biggest race of the year. I don't know if it's the biggest race of the year. Why didn't you tell her so that she knew what she was getting into on the actual day that she's arriving after, traveling halfway across the world? It's 28 hours later and she's been on the road this whole time. So like, like when if she's such a great listener, I don't understand why you didn't tell her so that she could listen to you talk about how as soon as she lands, time difference and all, she's gonna have to go and have some, bro drinks with you and your bro. So they have made the plan that they're gonna pick her up from the airport and they're off to the races. They're having some weird conversation in the car. Chris is like, well, do you think American girls are more jealous? I was like, that's a weird thing to say, unless there's like something to be jealous about.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where we find out a little bit that, again, remember at the top of the show, I said that this should be called Men Lie plus
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we find out that he's been lying to her. And he's been lying to her because he told Elise that he is living with his parents, but really he's been living with his female friend Nat, and they've been living together for 3 months. And we get no other information about who this Nat person is, at least not in this episode yet. I know I saw the sneak peek for the next episode, but for the episode that we're covering right now, we don't get any other information except
Mm-hmm.
that he thinks that she's like been there for him and he lives with her. He goes on to say that he's embarrassed about he has no stability in his life because he's not sure what's happening with his job, he doesn't have a place to stay, yada yada yada, the same things that were concerns about Elise. So they're both having the same concerns about him. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Landed. She feels tired. She feels overwhelmed. She saw in Joshua. She calls him Josh. That's why I'm calling him Josh. But Joshua's social media that it's not only going to be Joshua, it's Joshua and Chris that are picking her up at the airport, and they're both in suits. She thinks it's weird that he brought his friend. Again, she talks about he's 39 with a roommate. The job situation is not stable. Sounds to me like there's no stability in your life, which, she's not wrong about those things. Not wrong to think those things. And then they have their meet cute. I did think that they looked good together. I did laugh when she was trying to explain how he's dressed up and she's casual from getting off the plane, that she called it an oxymoron. I was like,
I knew you'd like that part.
I was like, that's not what that is.
Yeah, but she was searching for it. Listen, we're 28 hours of flying. We're going to let her have a pass on that.
Yeah, but I thought also it was cute because Dodge Ram, right? That's an oxymoron. And so I was like, oh, I get the general principle of what she's trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, what, basically, like, why are you guys dressed up? Like, what's happening here? And they explain that they're taking her to this race and to the bar. She feels uncomfortable, but also then says that she's willing to go to make him happy, kind of. And I was like,
yeah, I wrote it down because I hate this. I'll do it if that's what you want, but I feel uncomfortable.
mm-hmm.
I'll do it if that's what you want, but I feel uncomfortable. And I want to say something to both genders and no genders. This is not a phrase that you want your partner to say, and then you just steam right ahead with whatever that plan was. This is not a phrase that is indicative of a partner who wants to do that thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a phrase of consent. This is not a phrase of excitement. This is the phrase of, I am going to let you run over me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not good for either side. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. And again, just like with Trish, if she were not living in a world, in her case, I think it's less her culture and more in her own mind, of having a man is so important, then this is not a phrase you would ever need to say. This is not a phrase you'd ever say to your friends.
Let us know your thoughts on that in the live chat, as well if you're watching the replay. She changes, and she does make a whole like light-spirited thing about it, even though she was feeling a certain type of way. With like, everyone open a suitcase, you find the outfit that I'm gonna wear, and I want to look a little bit sluttier and all the things, right? So, but that's just her personality, right? Her personality is to keep things light. At least that's what it seems so far. Moving on to Stig and Aviva. Again, my new title for this episode, Men Lie. We've continued on this lying behavior because Stig is a liar, as well as all the other people that I said, and Lisa. So Men Lie and Lisa. Aviva wakes up. She's going to meet her Auntie Spring and leave Stig for the day. He's nervous that, quote, the lies will affect their relationship. He doesn't want to lose her over this, but he's feeling bad. And he's only feeling bad, you guys, because he's a liar and he doesn't want to get caught. And he wants to be able to manipulate the situation. This situation, you guys, made me so mad for a lot of reasons. Just want to let you know that. So he has told everyone, including his dad, that he took this picture with a fan and it was a fan interaction versus Corinne's friend saying, no, we have some type of situation going on here. And so Stig is like, I have no reason to lie about this. It was a fan. That's it. That's all. They get to like this outdoor bar, order a few drinks, and Auntie Spring and Corinne sit down and start talking about this other girl. And Corinne says, this is someone that I've known for a very long time. And she's told me that they have relations on and off. She shows a picture, that same picture that we saw, and says it's been a low-key relationship, mostly an intimate relationship. And so Aviva's like, well, is it still going on? And Corinth is like, well, let's call her. They call her. First question is, when's the last time you slept together? Last month in Placentia, which, they were in a relationship. So according to this girl on the phone, she was intimate just a month ago with Stig. Are you still talking is the second question. The girl says yes. Doesn't know anything about Aviva. When asked if he's in a relationship, he is telling people that he's single. I believe all of those things, you guys. I believe it. I believe it 100%. They get off the phone. Auntie Spring says, well, the girl has no reason to lie because she didn't even know about you. So, facts. Why would she lie? She doesn't know you. She doesn't know that you think you're in an exclusive relationship with Stig. And then the girl texts back, oh, and by the way, we have an upcoming trip. To where and when? San Pedro at the end of the month from Friday to Sunday. Now, you guys, let's use our common sense here. Okay? His trip is booked for exactly when Aviva is leaving town. Don't tell me that that's a coincidence because, again, this girl knows nothing about Aviva.
Correct.
Okay, so, I mean, let's use our common sense. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay? Aviva response was surprising to me because she literally started to downplay it and then make excuses. And I just was surprised that's how she responded. So she says, well, it just looks like they're having a casual relationship. And so I was like, but you thought you guys were exclusive. So why are you now downplaying the fact that he's cheating on you, knowing that the both of you had agreed to be exclusive? Abby, I don't get it.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, oh, they just had a casual relationship. So are you just saying that you're okay with him seeing other people? Because not in our world, because we don't think these online relationships are real when you've never seen each other. But in your world, you were together during that time. And you were exclusive during that time. So, and if that's not even like, okay, fine, you want to dismiss that? I mean, not fine, but whatever, you want to dismiss that? He has future plans with this person as soon as you leave.
And then,
but you're just choosing not to believe it. Okay.
Yeah, weird. And then they're meeting Dwayne, who is Stig's dad. So Spring and Aviva are meeting Stig and Dwayne. And one of the things that stood out to me was like the dad, like, I need to know what this relationship is, because the dad had more gentlemanly ways than his own son. So he's not meeting these people for the very first time. The first thing he does is, offers like, can I get you a drink? Well, Stig just stands there, does nothing, doesn't even do the intro, you guys. Dad has to introduce himself. Like, no home training. I don't, and Dad, what? Okay, so we find out that Stig told his dad everything, but not really everything, because he told his dad what he's been telling everyone, which is the lie. And he extended the lie by now saying that he doesn't even know that girl. So she was a fan before. Now you don't even know her, and you don't know anything about her. Okay. They get there, and Auntie Spring automatically wants to confront him, apologizes that the dad has to see it this way, but, it's quite serious, and says, all the things that we know, that there's a girl. She says that you guys were intimate and that you guys have a trip planned together, yada, yada, yada. And here's the thing. The dad even questions, because he says his son always has drama when it comes to dating. He's always around a bunch of different girls. So he was surprised that Stig actually had him come out to meet this girl, and he doesn't even believe that this is something serious. He doesn't believe it. So your own papa is saying, no, you're drama, you're messy. Your own father is saying that. Stig says he has nothing to hide. He doesn't know that girl. I wouldn't be serious about you and bring you around my dad if I wasn't serious. A bunch of gaslighting, more gaslighting, more gaslighting. And then, just like how I feel about Trisha right now, I'm just surprised by the way you just quickly forget and like forgive and forget, I guess. I don't know, but like Trisha gave it no time, and all of a sudden, boom, he gets a second chance. When yesterday you just found out he cheated. Today you found out he cheated for sure. And then today you're like, well, I want things to work out. Really? Like, I don't know about you, Abby, but Aviva and Trisha, I just know that they could do way better. And I don't understand why they are making it seem like they're so desperate to be in these mediocre relationships. I just don't understand it. And then I could throw Lisa in there, but I want to throw Lisa in there for a different reason. Lisa, who is a liar, but also like someone that fetish, I can't say it.
That's right. Fetishize.
Yeah. Black men. That's what wants that relationship to work out. But at the end of the day, why do we have these three women that are so desperate to have their existence be surrounded by, whether they're in a mediocre or less than relationship? I don't understand. I really don't. Like, one knows that she's being scammed. Yeah, she's scamming him. But at the end of the day, are you putting your full and only value on being in a relationship? Is that the line?
That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. There are so many women in the world who, no matter what they achieve, the place where they put the value to themselves, to society, to whomever, is whether or not they can call themselves partnered. It's like nothing means nothing more than that. I've seen women who I think are so accomplished. They have published books. They have their own business. They had a successful corporate career. They are fantastic aunties. They're great daughters. They're hilarious people to hang around. They're fantastic hostesses. And yet they feel like their lives are not complete unless they have a partner. And I know that they're sad about being unpartnered, or either they are covering up the deficiencies of their current partner just to be able to say, I's married.
Yes, well, Kendra G, I just saw a clip. She's on that is it Newton?
Yes.
Show. I
His
saw the clip
podcast. Mhm.
today. She basically said the same thing. She's like, I don't understand why, you can be a single, successful, strong, beautiful woman, and people are like, well, why are you not married? Why do you not this? Why are you not this? But then you could have someone who's uber successful, like a 50 Cent, who is 50 and is not married. But
Mhm.
no one said to him, why are you not a husband? And I was like, exactly.
Mhm.
The last thing I want to say about this episode when it comes to Stig is that he's a liar. And the last thing he says to camera is that he's hiding the fact that he's still entertaining people, even when he said he would be exclusive with Aviva, and is hiding it from her and doesn't want her to find out. Men lie and he's trash. Do you want to add anything else?
And they feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, like it's okay.
Nope. That's it. They're comfortable with being trashed.
Moving on to episode 13, Losing Altitude. We start off with Lisa and Daniel, and okay. She's hungover because, like I just said, she was drunk. She was drinking like a wild banshee. So she woke up hungover. She woke up in her own room, worried about Daniel, and she decided that she is going to fight for their love because their relationship is so good. And I said, what? Are we seeing a relationship? Abby, define good. Because if your definition of good is the fact that he said he wants to marry any American, insert any American here, the fact that he took off the wig and he almost lost it. He told you that you cannot go out in public or around people without your wig on. The fact that you have been lying, that you have been in a lesbian relationship for the past 21 years and have been married to women this whole time, the fact that you've been married 5 times and have not told him, I can go on. I'm just trying to figure out what your definition of good is. Because guess what? You're still lying to him.
You got me on this one.
Okay.
You got me on this one. They both have such ulterior motives that it's just not going to make sense to us. They're both pushing this forward for different reasons that have nothing to do with the surface interactions. Nothing.
It's wild to me. And instead of waking up saying, darn, I'm still lying, let me just get it all out on the table. Instead, you said that first of all, where are you getting this money from? Because you're pulling out money from the ATM. You apparently paid for this hotel. And then now you had the money to pay for another spot that is a special trip that you already paid. When did this all happen, and where's this money coming from? Because we seen you borrowing money from your friend. So who's financing all of this? Anyways, she decides that she's also going to fight for Daniel, and so meets him downstairs. And this is where I'm going to show you guys. Okay. Here is a beautiful example of when you have two people that are gaslighting each other. Okay? This is a perfect I want you to understand how perfect this example is. She gets downstairs, she smiles like everything's okay. He smiles like everything's okay. But then he says to her, he cried throughout the night because he couldn't sleep. But, okay, he's so hurt that he cried throughout the night that he couldn't sleep, but he's not going to reject her quite yet. He's going to give her a second chance in order to rebuild. But first, he has to talk to his uncle. She says, no, don't talk to your uncle. Don't call him yet. Let's take this trip first. Then you can call him. Why, you guys? Do you see? This is gaslighting at its finest. He's gaslighting because he's like, oh, snap. She gave the ring back and I'm all mad, but my ultimate goal is to get to America, full stop, period, by any means necessary. Oh, let me roll it back and give her a second chance. She is still lying, has been a liar, stays a liar, will continue to always be a liar and a manipulator. She's trying to manipulate him because she doesn't want to continue her honesty tour. She wants to, again, just like what's his stupid name that I can't stand? Rick. Just like Rick, she thinks that if she can throw in some romance and intimacy, that she can reel him back in. And then because of that soul tie and because they've been intimate, that he's going to think differently. That's manipulation. You guys are not allowing people to make full, wise decisions with all the information they should have. You are manipulating them mentally and physically, and I don't like it. Perfect example. So, he says, is this a trap? Yes, it is a trap. No, it's a trap. That's why you said that. But he still loves her, so he's going to try to forgive her. They're off to Western Lagos to this resort. And again, Lisa, I'm going to need you to get some home training. I'm going to need you to go to therapy. I'm going to need you to be less selfish. I'm going to need you to be less ignorant. And I'm also going to need you to stop lying. Because here's what pissed me off with you again. So you go to this place, you open up this, it looks like an Airbnb to me, but it's a resort. So you open up the door to this resort and there is a itsy bitsy spider up on the wall that you happen to just be able to point out. And when you say you freaked out, y'all, she freaked out. And I get some people have spider things and yada, yada, yada. But what she said pissed me off. What you should have said is, oh my gosh, I'm so scared of spiders. I'm deathly scared of spiders. Please help me. But instead you said that spider that you know nothing about could be poisonous because you're in Africa and it could be dangerous. Bitch, you know what? Stop talking. Stop talking with the ignorance. Okay? Stop talking and stop perpetuating the nonsense. Your first time in Africa and you're going to say stupid nonsense, but then should I be surprised because you're a perpetual liar? So liar and ignorance go hand in hand as far as I'm concerned.
That's true.
I said she's the worst. I can't, SMH.
I mean, the best thing about them being together is that it doesn't look like they're trying to have any kids. So even if it works out, at least there's no procreation happening here, because Lisa being left with a biracial child to raise, good Lord, you're a horrible parent already. You're racist. You have a fetishization thing. You cannot pay your bills. You don't work. You don't even know how to put on your own wig well. You have terrible hygiene.
Terrible hygiene.
Oh God, it's just such a poor Faith. Poor Faith would end up raising the child. That's the only good thing about this, is that he's just like not even mentioned that at all. Good, thank you.
Yeah, she's the worst. Daniel wants to call her his uncle again. That's what he mentioned because he's like, "What's the point of all this?" He's looking around, and she's like, "Oh, just give me a day or two. Just give me a day or two because she's still lying." And again, my note says, "I'm tired of her telling us that she needs to tell him the truth. Just tell him. Like we're sick of you saying, well, I have to. Just do it." Walking around the resort, it's desolate. But she feels like that's perfect for them because they'll be able to reconnect. They go on this bike ride. My note again says, "Oh, she's a liar." Hang out for the day. There's a bonfire and dancers. She's like, "I love you," and he's like, "I love you, but stop telling me lies and secrets." And she's like, "On that note, I am sorry to tell you." And says, she says to him, Nigeria, it's not legal for same-sex marriages. Well, in America, it is. My last marriage was not to a man. I've been with more than one woman. And oh, by the way, you're the first man that I've been with in 21 years. Mic drop. That's it. That's all she said. And that was the end of their segment. Hi, Silver Lining. Oh, Lord. Hot mess. Hot mess. What do you want to add?
That's it. I mean, I don't feel sorry for either one of them. But I do, for women who are seeking relationships with men, if you consider yourself to be a member of the LGBTQ community, or if you consider yourself to be an ally, I think you have to remove that title from yourself if you're going to go this hard after someone who's homophobic. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you bring that back into your community and the people who you're around who think that you're safe?
Well, because she's a liar.
You are a liar. Yeah, not you. Lisa. Lisa is a liar.
Yeah.
And she's not a safe person, and she's not a good parent. She's literally no redeeming qualities.
She doesn't even allow her own daughter, flesh and blood, to feel safe. Lauren Beercan, what were your overall thoughts on their segment here?
Okay, as much as I don't think that Beercan is a good partner for being homeless, for being unemployed, for having a gambling problem, I do agree with him that her calling Michael to talk about their relationship is wholly inappropriate.
Really?
I do, because it's not a platonic friend. It is a friend who previously expressed interest in you, and a friend that you would have reciprocal interest for if they would confirm their interest for you. This is not a friend that you can go to for any kind of objective opinion or information. This is somebody who also has an ulterior motive. So does she not have one single other friend she could have called for this? And then I would say, okay, Beercan, you can't really object because you introduce your friends, she should get to introduce her friends. But as he said, this is somebody who wants to blank you.
Mm.
That's not a friend.
Okay. She considers him her best friend, though. So where should she go to? Because I don't think she has other friends.
Get a new friend. Girl, that's not Beercan's problem that you want to call somebody your best friend who has feelings for you. You had time. You're an adult. Get a life. You're a teacher. There's other teachers at school you can interact with. There's the gym that you join. There's other clubs that you go to. Make a new friend.
But in this moment, though, Abby, she doesn't have any other friends.
I don't feel sorry for her for not having any other friends. You either stand up on your own 2 feet and say, I don't want to be with this homeless man. Well, you need somebody else to confirm that for.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the live chat and the replay. They're going on another excursion. Beercan really feels like he's done his homework. He knows that she loves history and art, and it's a combination of history, art, holiday, vacation, and love. So he's really patting himself on the back. They're taking a trip to what looked amazing. Turkey, you're bringing me back, even though it's with all the cats.
All the cats. Can I tell you something really interesting about this place where they're at?
Okay, can I just say one thing? So they're
Yes.
going to the ancient ruins,
Hmm.
and it's Ephesus, which is like all marble and runes, and it's the oldest place that the Greeks built from the 10th century, and it's one of only 7 historical places in the world. Bravo! Bravo! TLC. That is
Hmm.
how you're supposed to do it when they travel. Teach us a little something. Okay, go.
So, in this place, one of the ruins that they have there was a ginormous library. It's one of the central photos that you're looking at when they showed it in the show. Across from the library on the next block, and there's a brothel. Okay, and underneath the library, there is a passage that goes from the library to the brothel because the men would lie and say that they were going to study and they would go to the brothel.
Love that fun fact. Love it. See, love learning all the new things.
You would love that part of Turkey. That part of Turkey is also near, if you are a religious person, it's supposed to be one of the places where Mary was.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. That's why I said you're bringing me back. Bringing me
Hmm.
back. Talk about the cat situation. Silver Lining says Laura's living her dark romance fantasy with competing bows. The good guy friend versus the bad boy dark. Oh, and the twisted lover, just like her romance novels. Yes. Excellent point. Excellent
This
point.
makes so much sense that it is disturbing me.
Yes, just like her romance novels. That is an excellent point.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But in the dark romance novels, Silver Linings, aren't there some redeeming qualities to the competing bows? Like they have power or they have money or so, like what competing good qualities do these guys have?
Also, Michael, just a recommendation. Just go ahead and shave that hair all the way off. Just do it. You'll look so much better. Um, Laura says she wants this relationship to work, and that's why she called Michael. His opinion matters to her, and she has concerns about this relationship, and she is seeing a lot of red flags. Birkan is mad that she's talking about their relationship with Michael. And so when Laura then tells him, oh, by the way, he wants to come here and he already bought his flight, it set him off. He's like, he's coming without asking, like, what? And I took a little bit of offense to that because who are you supposed to ask? Maybe you meant to say he's coming without discussing it together because she
Hmm.
doesn't need permission to invite anybody. That's her friend. That's how I took it. But Birkan's mad because he's like, you know what? You're giving him a chance to break us up while you're confused about us. And he has ulterior motives because he literally wants to get with you. And so that's why he's coming here. Because you're feeling all these red flags and whatever confusion. And then he's just gonna, stick the sword in deeper and break us up. And then he goes on to say, if we do break up, he's going to blame Laura and not Michael. And I thought that was a very interesting take on things.
Mm.
They finished their day at the ruins by going wine tasting. I learned Sharefe, which it means to your honor, equivalent to saying cheers when you're drinking. Their wine tasting, and Birkan says, I'm miserable and I'm just sitting here waiting for Michael to arrive. And Laura's like, well, let's talk about it. What are you upset about? He's upset that there was no heads up that Michael was joining them. And he feels like Laura is declining his existence, that she doesn't respect him, and now he's having his own doubts about this relationship. And if they do get married, it's only going to get worse because now there's like a third party, third wheel in their marriage.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts on his take?
I mean, I understand. I understand you saying, oh, she doesn't have to ask for her friend to come. But I understand Birkad saying, you didn't consult me about him coming. Now, if it was just a regular friend, I would feel the same way. Like, you don't need to consult me, it's your friend. But this is somebody who is coming with, the intent that we're not going to be together. Even before he knew anything about Birkad's debt or work situation, he did not want them to be together. So, I see his side. I'm not advocating super hard for him though, because he is not. I don't think he needs to be focused on being in a relationship right now. I think he needs to be focused on building up his own life right now. So I'm not arguing super hard for him. I just hear him.
I'm going to add Silver Linings point here. She says they make it pretty obvious in these dark novels that the good guy is who they should be with. The dark one is just the violent, protective, and soft for her only. And I think that this point is interesting because I'm going into Birkan and his behavior and how I took it. And I would be, there's no way. So Michael has arrived. His hotel's not going to be ready till 2. So he asks if he could head over. He heads over, and Birkan is having, these are my words, a full temper tantrum. Because he really feels like Michael's trying to wreck their connection. So when Michael arrived, he doesn't get up, and he's sitting like a serial killer, you guys. He's just not looking all hard and serious. It's sitting there. It was like, whoa, that is so weird. That is serial killer vibes. I'm actually scared for y'all because he could just go, like, he looked like he could just go off. Michael comes in and he stands up all stiff after a certain amount of weird awkwardness, greets him, and then sits back down again, all stiff, and just sits there. And everyone's just like looking around, and Laura offers tea, and Michael's like, oh, who makes tea out here? Is it the boys or the girls? And Birkan's like, men and women. Oh, okay. So Laura goes off to make the tea. Michael sits down to try to do some small talk. And he's acting like you guys, he was literally acting like a serial killer, crazy person. He just sits there all hard, and this is what happens. He's like, oh, so do you like, what are you watching? Scarface. Do you like old, classics like that? No. Oh, so just like this movie, I like violence and mob stuff. Then turns all crazy with crazy eyes like this, you guys, to look over at Michael. You see how that's a weird thing to do? He looks at him and says, do you like violence? That was outrageous. It was scary. Serial killer behavior. Ching ching. He's got nothing to lose because he ain't got no job. He ain't got no home. He's used to being a traveler, so he could easily be on the run. So no, what you're not about to do is sit up in here and go all ballistic, and all of a sudden you got to get, the U.S. Embassy involved in what's the tragedy that has happened here. There, that show, Evil Lives Here. Do you guys have any of that show?
Mm-hmm.
Lives Here. It starts with this: so and so and so and so love so and so, but then so and so said, "Do you like violence?" There had been signs,
right?
Y'all, that's a sign. I'm just telling you.
It was very much giving. It puts the lotion on and rubs it in.
Yes, Abby. Yes. That's why. Oh no, I'm out of there. Absolutely not. That was so crazy, you guys. So weird. All right, back to Elise and Joshua. They're at the hotel. Excuse me, not the hotel. They're at the airport. She's done a quick costume change, sexy little outfit, and yeah, it's super windy in Australia. She's standing there cold. She has to tell him to open the door for her so she can go inside. Then men can continue to act like gentlemen and get her bags in the car. She makes a joke about that as well and says, "Hey, Chris, do you want to sit up front with me with my two boyfriends? We could be a trio." And she laughs. And I'm starting to see that that's her coping mechanism, is when she's feeling uncomfortable, she makes jokes. And Joshua's like, I really want her to be excited to be here with me. And they're driving to see this horse race. And Chris is in the back, and Chris is like, "Hey, name a horse and I'll put 1,000 on it." And he gives a bunch of names. She likes the name Buckaroo. But by the time they're halfway in traffic, they've missed the race because of the airport and the traffic. But Joshua's like, "I don't care." But Chris cares because Chris just lost $1,000. Not her problem. Not her problem at all. Because she probably could have made a decision that she wanted to make had you told her that that was your plans. So laughed at this part. So they're driving. She freaks out because she thinks he's driving on the wrong side of the road. And when asked, what do you think of it so far? She's like, "Oh, I like it. It's not that third worldish." And I said, Who told you Australia was a third world? Who told you that, American? But I do love Josh's response. He said, "We have healthcare." Universal healthcare. Anyways, it's funny to me. I know you Americans don't think that's funny, but it was funny to me as a Canadian.
No, that's actually hilarious. I don't know if she was joking or not when she said that, but good answer.
Good answer. They get to the bar. It looked like just a regular bar. I don't see any type of horse racing. It just looked like you stopped off at the bar. So I don't know if it was that serious then, you guys. They do a cheers. Joshua cheerses his best friend Chris and not his girlfriend that just traveled halfway across the world. It was wild to me. And she noticed it too. She's like, "Oh, that sounded like you're cheersing Chris." And he's like, "He was." Then she's asking a bunch of questions. "Do you guys go out a lot here?" Yes, they do. This is where I was confused, because this is where we're told that Josh's job is to drive boats. So he's out most weekends, and those weekends include parties. And then she's questioning that, right? Because she is like, "Yeah, I used to go out 5 days a week in Miami, but I want to slow down and settle down and all of that stuff." And then he says to her, "Give me a reason not to go out." What?
Yeah,
No.
that either you want to or you don't. It's not about
her.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about her. You either want to do this for the benefit of our relationship because this is what we just talked about and this is what I like, or you don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to then now tap dance around and have to give you reasons why you stay home, because then when you stay home, guess what? You're going to blame her. You're going to resent her. So no.
So how many flags are we at now?
I don't even know. But here's another one. She can't understand why he parties a lot when he's struggling financially. You are 40 and you ain't got no place to live, and your job is a little dodgy, wishy-washy, according to what you're telling us. Final warning. Yet you can party all day, every day. She's exhausted. She's been up for 40 hours. They finally get to the Airbnb, and she was hilarious again. Because again, you guys, I don't think she felt comfortable with two grown men that she just met that day. And now she has to stay in this little small apartment where she says the The bathroom is tiny. She's looking to get a closet organizer and a steamer. Why is there only one towel in the bathroom? She needs more pillows. Like, because of course, remember, she's Richie Rich. She comes from a rich family, and you can tell even just by her room here, you guys, that she is used to a specific type of lifestyle, and this isn't it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do have one thing. One thing I do want to say is that, because I say it to everyone, even though, it seems like I like her, because I do so far, I do want to know how she just, after flying 28 plus hours, how she just jumped in the bed. My note said, is she going to shower?
Yeah. I mean, all those hours, then you went to a horse race.
I don't understand, you guys. So I just don't understand. And then we find out something that was concerning to me when they say their little goodbyes, kiss goodbyes. Not good nights, kiss good nights. And Joshua spills this weird thing. He says, there's parts of his life that she may not be happy with. And I was like, oh, cryptic. What does that mean?
I have a guess. Should we take guesses or I haven't watched further yet. You might already know what it is.
I haven't watched further yet.
My guess is that he's bisexual.
What?
That's my guess. Why do we have your friend with us right now? Why do we have a picture of your friend in the bedroom? I think that he is a former lover.
Oh, I'm blown away right now. My gut usually is like dead. I did not see that coming at all. Parts of my life she may not be happy with. I thought it was about the girl that he's living with. I think the girl is his ex-girlfriend, ex-lover, and now they're just quote unquote friends.
Mm-hmm.
That was my guess. But woo, it would be juicier if Chris is the ex-boyfriend. That would be juicier. Okay, I'm moving on to Vivon and Anna Lynn.
Yes.
Oh, shoot, we got a lot of couples to go. Okay. Another cat, Nito, sick. Sorry, not sorry, don't care. That's all I'm going to say about it. With her mom. And then we got that gross toilet thing. Like, why are you guys putting food and the grossness together all the time? This is the second time you did it in the second episode. But they did talk about, and there's a lot of countries that are like this, that the tissue paper doesn't dissolve. And so that's why they do have bidets, is because you're supposed to put the tissue in the garbage and not down the toilet, or the toilet clogs, because they don't have the same plumbing system that you see in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's what I want you to put. I want to give you an example of when Anna Lynn is talking about how much this guy complains, like, because he is a negative Nancy. He's
Mm-hmm.
such a negative Nancy that I start taking notes of every time he complains just in this segment alone. So the mom has taken the time to make a beautiful breakfast for them. There's tilapia, chicken, adobo, boiled eggs, and rice. And his first complaint is that is this breakfast, or is it dinner? It's not like a breakfast that he's used to. Complaint number one. Not gratitude that this woman woke up early and made you breakfast. Not, hey, let me try my wife's cuisine and be appreciative. None of that.
Not curiosity, not excitement. He immediately shifts into negativity.
That part. And then they sit down. The mom asks, how did you sleep? Complaining again, between the cat being sick and the rooster and the karaoke, it was hard for him to sleep. How long are you staying? I don't know, maybe like another 2 weeks. You don't know definitively how long you're going to be there. And the mom makes a joke, why don't you stay a year? Because, what about my daughter? She waited 6 years for you, and, both of them losing hope. Mom and daughter are losing hope that you were ever going to get here. And what about all your broken promises that the mom says? And so she's concerned that there's no definite plan for the future between the two of them. And then we find out that he hasn't even applied for the spousal visa. They've been married 3 years. What is happening here? So Annalyn's not feeling secure about the future. And why should she? Because you've had 3 years to apply for this spousal visa. Do you want to talk about the spousal visa at all before I move on?
Yeah, he could have applied for it. He would have just had to show that they consummated the marriage before it would have been approved, but he could have absolutely had it in the works.
Yep. Then we see after breakfast that not only is he a complainer, he is lazy. And so she's coming in. Can you imagine? I know that that's your wife, but you've been over just overnight. So you're still kind of a guest, if that makes sense to you. And so for you to just throw all your clothes on the floor and just leave it in her, like, what? So,
and her space was so neat when we saw it too. You could tell she cares about how she keeps her things neat and tidy. And he's just in there just being gross.
Yeah. And so she's upset and says, hey, can you like not do this and pick up after yourself? And then here's where he's complaining again. He's complaining on how she's delivering that information to him about picking up after himself. First of all, you're a grown-ass man. So how about if you just did it, then you wouldn't have to have this conversation. And then he says, because he is also a passport bro with red pill behavior, says it's hard to be romantic when you nag me a lot. He feels like he's making an effort. And by that, because he's offered to take her to go get pedicures. And so he thinks that is him showing that he's making an effort to be more romantic towards her. And they get there. And again, instead of allowing it to be the romantic gesture, he is looking around and says, it looks like Barbie threw up in here. Can you imagine walking into someone else's establishment, someone else's dreams that they've made into a reality, and this fool comes in here again, just talks shit about it? Like, can you imagine? Because he's that negative. Tells her that as soon as she sits down and starts to get the pedicure, that she still has to be nicer to him, and then I'll do nice things. Then goes on to say, if that's not enough, you used to be a lot softer, a lot sweeter, a lot more patient. And this is where I was just like, you've lost me. I'm done. He says, you got comfortable. You felt like I wasn't going anywhere anytime soon, and you got too comfortable. Then literally threatens her and says, don't ever get too comfortable. She's like, is this from your alpha misogynistic videos? And he's like, no, I came up with that on my own. Now, before I go off on a tangent, I will say this, because I want to be petty. Did he not comb his hair? Because I was distracted when he was spewing all this disgusting behavior. I was distracted in the fluffs that were in his hair. So it looked like you didn't shower. You for sure didn't comb your hair. You didn't throw a little oil in that ashiness. And then you have an ashy attitude. No, thank you. And so I was happy that she responded the way she responded. Because she said, because he went on to say, because there was more, that when I tell you to do something, you don't listen. And then says to her that she picks and chooses the traditional rose when it applies to her. He wants her to be respectful because he provides financially. And he doesn't want her to talk back. Now, there's so much to unpack here, you guys, because he's literally saying that he wants a traditional wife, the trad wife, right? But he is not a provider like that. And so for him to act like she should just be seen, not heard, is wild to me, you guys. It's absolutely wild to me because you knew who she was online for 6 years. So all the fighting that you guys were doing, what made both of them, what made you guys decide to get married? I don't understand. Is it just to say you got married? Outrageous. Abby.
So I would ask him for an example. Like, well, I would never be in a relationship with him, but if I was and we're sitting there and he says, I want you to be more respectful, I would say, give me an example of what you're talking about. Let's assume that you are in the role that you want to be in. You're the man of the house. You put your clothes away where they're supposed to be. There's not trash everywhere. You clean up after yourself. What is it that you then expect from me? Or is it that you expect you're going to continue to leave trash all over the place and I'm supposed to just pick it up? Like, tell me what the scenario is. Like, let's be very clear about what the scenario is, because what I'm complaining about is something that shouldn't happen at all. Right? And then the other thing he said was, I have responsibility, financial responsibility with no authority. Authority to do what? Authority over whom? Where exactly do you see this authority fitting into any of the situations that have played out between us? Give me an example of something that's happened where you have attempted to exert authority and you have been unable to do so. Because I need to understand what you mean by you have no authority.
Well, it's that same thing, right? He wants her to be there, but don't talk.
So he expects for her to continue cleaning up after him without complaining. Is that what he's interpreting as authority?
Do as he says and don't talk back. Be nicer, be softer, be sweeter, be more patient. And you're too comfortable. Never get comfortable. Like, those are all, like, he doesn't want her to be any type of individual. He wants to have authority over her and tell her what to do and how to live her life and to also serve him. No, I'm done with that. And so is she. She's like, I'm done. Don't come home ever. I don't want to see you ever again. It's disgusting. And I agree with you, Annalyn, that behavior was disgusting.
Yeah. He wants her to be a maid.
Yep. Emma is a hot mess. Emma is a hot mess. Emma. Hot mess express. Couple of days since Zia dumped her, and as she continues to tell everyone, left her in the desert. She didn't want to go back to her old riad, so she booked a new one. And then she said, which was so confusing to me, guys, she said she's not sure what she's going to do. She's now not sure what she's doing. Girl, go explore. Take it as a vacation. Go explore and go and get to know yourself. Go and find out why you continually try to get into and be in these toxic relationships. Go take the 2 weeks or however long you have left there and explore this country that you came to. Stop making the center of your world about a man and go and explore, because you know what? You know what traveling does? Traveling grows you. It grows you. It develops you in all the great type of ways.
Yep, if you let it.
So she is having some tea. She calls her friend Maddie, tells her everything that happened with Zia, and then Zia broke up with her and, quote, left her in the desert. If she said that one more time, I was just like, ugh. And then her friend's like, can we just be done with this country of Morocco? Because she knows her friend's terrible history.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, don't be mad. She started texting Mohammed, the guy that cheated on her and left her after they got engaged. And here's where I want to tell you guys, you can't be so desperate just because you want a man that you just settle for anything. Okay? She tells Mahdi that she texts him and she tells Muhammad that she's there in Morocco. And you know what he says? He says, okay, have fun. That man doesn't want you. Okay, have fun. Not like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're here. How long you here? Blah, 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 blah. No, he said, okay, have fun. The other thing that why are you even entertaining the bare minimum is when she tells us that Ziad is still sending her rage texts, calling her a demon and a monster. Why are you even entertaining that? Block him and move on. So the common denominator in this toxicity is you. And I'm going to need you to address that and address why you're behaving like this and why you're accepting it. Because then you turn around and say, oh, woe is me. I don't understand why this keeps happening to me. Well, it keeps happening to you because you accept it. And not only do you accept it, you also initiate it. Initiate and chase. Yeah.
Exactly.
So she's going to go see him. And her friend Maddie is like, well, why? Why are you seeing him? Is it for closure or are you trying to rekindle something? And her friend starts crying and says, you know, I just feel sad for you. You should just come home because what are you going to gain out of this? I'm tired of you always being hurt. It hurts her as well as your friend. But no, she's like, we'll see what happens. Muhammad calls and asks her because, you know, men will push the boundaries to see how far they can get. This is why I don't understand. Actually, okay, I won't say it that way. I'll say they'll push the boundaries. If you accept something, they're going to continue to do it because you accept it. Period. And so he's like, oh, she's here? Let me see what the boundaries are. Do you got a boyfriend? Are you here with a man? Oh, no, no, no. And then she says, do you want to see me? In his own country. He's not like, hey, I want to see you. She asks him. And he's going to say, yeah. Because guess what? If he can get her pants one last time, so be it. He doesn't live here. He has nothing to lose. Do you want to add something?
No, you covered it completely.
Rick and Trisha. I'm over all the I am over the bare minimum, you guys. I'm over the bare minimum men. I'm over the mediocrity of it all. You guys just deserve so much better, including Trisha. They're en route to meet her family, and she is encouraging Rick to show her family that he's a good guy. And then this is where you see the ultimate manipulation. This is where I say he's a predator. This is where I say I cannot stand him. This is where I'm so shocked that she's giving this man any type of chances. Because you know what? He knows he ain't shit. He knows that he's been lying to her. He hasn't told her that he doesn't want to have kids. He hasn't told her the truth about all of it, going back to America and raising his kids and all of it. Plus, on top of, he knows that he's way too old for her, and they're going to see that because he's older than her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of claiming all of that and maybe even just saying, here are my fears and concerns, he flips it and makes her the villain of the story. He says first, am I the man you want to be introduced to your family? And she's looking at him like, what? Like, what are you talking about? He's hesitating. She says, I need you to make things clear because what are we even talking about? I barely just forgave you and now you're tripping about what exactly? And then he says, you keep talking about your ex. And then he brings in the rage to it, the audacity, and says that she keeps bringing up to upset him. And I literally said, you're only upset, SMH, because you're an insecure simp. You're an insecure simp, period, full stop. And every time you look over at this beautiful, educated woman, you realize that you don't deserve her. And so every opportunity you get to bring her down a notch, because men do that, you guys, by the way. The insecure ones, they do that. That man that just killed his wife, who was a vice mayor, highly educated as he wasn't, and so he killed her. That's all jealousy and insecurity about a man who thinks that he's not good enough for, and therefore you shouldn't be better than. So, okay, I digress. So I'm worried that this is what's happening here, because I'm seeing it from my own eyes. So he says, you're bringing up your ex, screaming at her, yelling at her because you're trying to upset me. And he continues to yell at her, saying that she's trying to make him jealous and she's playing games with him. And you're doing all of this to get back at me because I cheated. And you don't appreciate, again, this whole appreciation, financial manipulation, emotional manipulation. You don't appreciate what I've done for you, but you appreciate what he's done for me, for you. It seems like you want to be with him. That 2 and 8 does not make 4. Because all the things that you just said here, none of it is true and none of it adds up. What it does add up to is you trying to make her feel bad about all the things that you've done. You're trying to make her the villain when you're the villain. You're trying to degrade her so that you can feel better about your simple self. Then tells her that she is getting far away from the finish line. The finish line meaning what? That she's going to be with you and you're the prize. You better stop it. You better stop it. She's looking at him. She's like, okay, so do you want to go? Let's go. If you don't want to go, then stay. Then he, again, manipulates and says, I want to go if you're going to be committed to this relationship. I literally screamed at the TV, no, you're absolutely not going to make this about her and her commitment. Cheater, liar. You're going to ask her and make it about her not being committed. And the only reason she's going to be with you is if she commits. You better shut. Listen. Cuss word. Do you want to add anything, Abby? Because the simple fact that at the end of the day, she says that she's afraid that, at the end of the day, he's afraid that she won't trust him, which he shouldn't, and that her family won't accept him, which they shouldn't. All of these insecurities he has, plus he's a simp, plus he ain't got no job, plus is why he is now flipping it and making her the villain, because he knows that he's going to go a bunch of elders, a bunch of people that actually truly love her, and they're going to want to protect her, and they're going to have some questions for him, and he's not going to have the answers.
Mm-hmm. So I think what he's trying to set up is a place where if they do come after him hard, that she will defend him, that she won't leave him there by himself, defenseless. That's what I think he's trying to set up. And he knows that she has good reason to not jump in and defend him if something like that was to happen. So he's trying to say, like, to create a situation where you need to demonstrate loyalty to me despite what I've just done to you. I think that's the manipulation he's trying to pull off.
No.
And the danger of people like her, and let's also say people like Elisa, being male-centered the way that they are, is that they could fall into being manipulated in that way.
No. Just no. Nope. Absolutely not. He can go away. No. That's it, you guys. Thank you for catching up with us. We are almost getting there. We're almost getting there. Happy Good Friday to you. Have an amazing weekend. We will be back shortly. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, we love you. Thanks for being here. Toodles.
Toodles, TTFN. Bye bye for now. See you Monday.